They're saying that there's a new TikTok ban that's coming. Obviously, I've been hearing about it. I've been reading about it. I've been paying attention to it. And I've also been seeing people crash out because they think that TikTok is going away and their best friend, oh my God, their best friends on TikTok and their followers, and they're going to lose all of their money. Check it out.
I started sprucing up my resume because I'm like, I might have to get a job until we figure out this TikTok thing.
I'm not really sure what's in the future, honestly.
I don't know if it'll be a minor setback or something that I can overcome.
We introduced you to these 3 TikTok creators last year. They say their financial futures are uncertain, even after the Supreme Court heard arguments Friday on a law that would ban TikTok, owned by the Chinese company ByteDance. During the hearing, both conservative and liberal justices seemingly challenged TikTok's arguments surrounding free speech. Rita Colon is a full-time personal shopper who says she makes at least $3,000 a month live streaming in big department stores.
It's allowed me to be an entrepreneur and to work for myself. It's allowed me the freedom of time.
If you got 384, say, oh yeah.
Third grade teacher Shelby Lattimore, who charges her students Lattimore bucks to teach financial literacy, says she has pulled in over 6 figures from the platform.
It's been able for me to help out my family members, help out like here in the school. I've been able to fund field trips.
Find me, Jose Monkey.
You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, so I did.
And Jose Monkey, who doesn't ever use his real name online, teaches about the importance of online safety, his viewers challenging him to global scavenger hunts.
You're at the southwest corner of the Sarah D. Roosevelt Park.
He says his hope of making his content his main income is dwindling.
I worry that this TikTok ban is going to potentially derail that to some degree.
A 2024 survey by the Influencer Marketing Hub found TikTok is the top platform brands use for influencer marketing. TikTok says if banned, creators would lose $1.3 billion in the first month. ByteDance has until January 19th to sell or transfer the app to an American-owned company, according to the Department of Justice. If it doesn't, it will be banned, and people won't be able to download the app in the United States.
Do you have like a plan B or a backup plan?
So yeah, over a year ago, I did start my YouTube and my Instagram so that I have those platforms as well.
Instagram will let you go live, but only for an hour.
Yeah, and here's the problem. In my opinion, it ain't no money on Instagram. Also, every single platform is different. It's much different. It's different in building your base. It's different as far as the quality of content, the type of users that are on there. The type of people that consume content on TikTok is completely different than the type of people that consume content on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of that. It's a completely different audience. 100%. And let me not dismiss the type of money that a lot of people are making over there on TikTok, because people are generating enough money that would impact their life and their future. Couple different questions as we evaluate what the options are going to be or what's going to happen, or what my predictions are as far as what's going to happen with TikTok over the next week or so. Because again, everybody is panicking. A lot of people didn't prepare for this. And let me tell you what the worst thing is. And this is the first point, is that there's a lot of people that baked into their lifestyle the money that they were making on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, on TikTok and these platforms. What did I tell y'all was important to do? Is you need to have multiple sources of income. I tell y'all inside of the Bag Chasers, when I'm going through these budget videos and I'm going through the block club and I'm going through all of these things, you have to have multiple sources of income. You cannot be interdependent on dependent or dependent on one or two sources of income and think that you're going to be able to maintain your lifestyle. B, do not increase your lifestyle based off of the amount of money that you're making on one or two or three different platforms. Because if it goes away, then you ain't gonna be able to pay your car note. Now, if you want to take the money and stack it up and then invest it in something, or you want to take the money and buy a car cash, then that's a completely different conversation. I wouldn't advise it because you can't really write it off unless you're doing it a certain way. However, a lot of these creators have quit their jobs. They become TikTokers. They open up TikTok shops, and now they're gonna be missing out on that $2,000-3,000 a month that they then depend on in order to continue to feed their families, because their whole life is integrated based off of it. And the hardest thing to do for most people is to transition or to translate their users over to a completely different platform. People don't want to hear that. They found you where they found you. That's where they want to rock out with you. And so if you haven't been working on being, what do I like to call it? If you haven't platform agnostic, that's what I like to call it. If you're not platform agnostic, meaning that you're diversified across multiple different platforms, but you're still depending on this one platform to make sure that you're taken care of, then you're in trouble. You're absolutely in trouble.
After an hour, the timer goes on and it just automatically ends your life.
Ain't no money over there on Facebook to me.
As creators and consumers wait to see what's ultimately decided, some are holding on to hope, others preparing for the end of an era.
I don't want to be dramatic, but I mean, TikTok has definitely changed my life. It has been a big, sort of hobby slash, profession for me, which is an interesting balance. It's definitely, changed my perspective probably in ways I can't count.
Maya Eaglin, NBC News.
Well, a lot of people like in the chat right now is saying that they hope that Elon Musk buys it. They think that Elon Musk is going to buy it. I'm going to tell you why I don't think that Elon Musk will buy it.
I mean, we're talking about this sort of geopolitical tectonic plates shifting here underway. Now we think about how corporates are being wrapped up into this. It looks like TikTok, perhaps the preferred buyer from Beijing's point of view, will be Elon Musk. Tell us what we know so far.
That's certainly one of the possibilities that's being discussed, and that's what we're hearing from sources. This is a Bloomberg scoop that just came out this morning. I mean, we've got to keep in mind, of course, the main priority from China's perspective is certainly for ByteDance to continue to retain control of the app. But in terms of the possibilities, yes, that's what we're hearing, is that Elon Musk's X could take control of TikTok US and run the two businesses together. What's in it for TikTok, or what's in it for X, rather? I mean, there's a couple of different things. Firstly, it could help X's efforts to attract advertisers. And then separate to that, there's an artificial intelligence company that Elon Musk also founded, XAI, and that could also benefit from the huge amounts of data that's being generated by TikTok. In terms of the valuation of this deal, I mean, again, it's really difficult to tell on a lot of different fronts. But Bloomberg Intelligence last year said that TikTok in the US could be worth somewhere between $40 and $50 billion. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, we know, but it's still a large amount of money for him to finance, and he's still paying off X's loans as well. It's also unclear if US TikTok would be sold off in a competitive process or if the sale is going to be arranged by the government. But just going back to sort of the main thing we do need to remember, of course, is the priority or the preference for China is for ByteDance to retain control of its operation.
If anybody is familiar with X's platform, it is a competitor to TikTok. And there is money on X. It absolutely 100%. There is a bag on X. It's a bag on TikTok too. And so I'm just looking at it from a content creator's perspective. But on the flip side, what I am saying is that I don't see the synergies. I don't see why Elon Musk would basically take another $40 to $50 billion and buy TikTok. Why would he do that? X is doing well on its own. Also, on top of that, X is a direct competitor to TikTok. I don't see the synergies basically where he would be able to eliminate costs. I think that the marketing behind TikTok, which when I first seen TikTok, it was supposed to be for kids doing dances and stuff like that. And then all of the grown folks got on there and started doing 304 talk. But it's a completely different market. It's a completely different demographic of user. I think that the platforms is different. I don't see it. I don't see why Elon Musk would buy something just to have overlap of users. I think that people that don't necessarily care for Elon Musk is not on X, and who's to say that they would stay on TikTok? But that's just my opinion in particular. I don't think that Elon Musk, it makes sense for him to do it. I don't see why everybody is saying that just because he's the richest man in the world or the richest man in America, that he should do it. I think that it would be an absolutely bad deal for him to do it. But I've heard a lot of people that want to put together an investment group that wants to be involved in the selling or the buying of TikTok. Here's the other problem is that, first of all, TikTok is not going away completely. It will still exist on your phone if you already download it, and you will already still have it on your phone and continue to participate. But any new users or anybody that gets a new phone or anything like that, they don't automatically have it. They will not have it. They cannot download it from the App Store after the 19th of January, which would basically depend on either the federal government, Trump, somebody from working, or to work on making sure that they get TikTok back. Otherwise, it's a lot of people that's trying to figure out where to go. They're trying to go to these other platforms. They basically try to move over to other Chinese users. It has to be organic. It cannot just come out of a whim. You have to organically be able to find a platform that's conducive for what you're trying to do as a content creator. And it also doesn't necessarily mean that there's any money over there. But we'll see what happens.
Have we heard from either company?
We haven't heard anything, but it's also, what else is interesting in this scoop today is it's also not clear how much ByteDance actually knows about these conversations that are reportedly taking place, and also whether...
He said he's not going to do it, but Mark Zuckerberg did it with Instagram. Mark Zuckerberg bought Instagram, I think, for only like $1 billion, first of all. Secondly, Instagram was completely different from Facebook, and the user base was completely different from Facebook. Wasn't any overlap. You see what I'm saying? So he was able to use the synergies not only to integrate a lot of the features that they developed for Instagram, but Instagram was a completely different type of platform. At the time, it was only based off of posts and pictures. I don't even think it was any videos on it at the first. And Instagram was a startup. Instagram was not a fully developed, fully functioning, monetized platform when Mark Zuckerberg bought it. Absolutely not.
Musk, TikTok, and ByteDance
have
19
billion? 19 billion. It wasn't a fully monetized, developed platform, but it is now.
Talks themselves on the terms of a possible deal. So there's a lot of different lacks of clarity in this whole story. But one of the things that's also interesting to note is that essentially ByteDance's US operations for TikTok aren't necessarily at the sole control of ByteDance either, because the Chinese government holds a so-called golden share in the ByteDance affiliate in China. That's Douyin. It's the TikTok equivalent in China.
Snap. Oh, and it's a lot of money on Snap.
ByteDance would say that golden affiliate, or that golden share would only apply to Douyin, but of course there are other export controls in place that would prevent China, for instance, or allow China to block the sale of those algorithms that are so precious to TikTok. So ByteDance doesn't really have the full say of where this goes either. So that's, again, according to sources, and it's discussions that are happening at the Chinese government level.
I don't think that Elon Musk is going to buy it. Unless the Supreme Court, because I don't think the Supreme Court necessarily care about whether or not y'all on TikTok or not, but unless the Supreme Court somehow, some way overrules it, it's going away. Well, it's not actually going to go away. It's just you're not going to be able to update it, and you won't be able to download anything from the App Store. That'll be a boom for YouTube. It'll be a boom for Instagram. It'll be a boom for X. Actually, I think that they banking on it to go away so that they can take their user base and make it into something else. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think that TikTok is going to be going away for a little while before it's going to go away for at least a month. That's my opinion. That's my assessment of it. And I do not think that Elon Musk is going to buy it.